I'm backing out of the driveway, already a little later than I meant to be. Not wildly late, just later. I glance at the clock on the dash. Okay, I can still make this work. I get to the end of the street and reach my water. Nothing. I look down at the cup holder anyway, like maybe I missed it. I didn't. It's not there. I can see it in my head, sitting on the counter right next to the sink. Exactly where I left it. Whatever, I'll be fine. Later that week, I'm halfway to work when it hits me. No lunch. Awesome. The next day, it's breakfast. Each time, I'm far enough away that turning around doesn't feel like an option. Every morning, it's something different. But every time, it's the same feeling, that tight pull in my chest, like everything just dropped an inch. The following week, I'm already on edge. I cannot do another week like last week. And still, here I am, behind, 10 minutes behind. I pull into my office spot and sit there for a second longer than I need to. I unplug my phone, grab my bags, and that's when I notice it. No AirPods. I freeze, half in and half out of the car. Open my purse wider, then wider. It's a super small purse, you guys. My phone is basically the only thing that fits in it. Yet here I am, staring into it like something might change. It does not. Inside my office, I check again. Every pocket, every bag, nothing. I open the Find My app. Found them. There they are, at my house. I drop my bags on the couch and let out a low, growly exhale. But it sounds like when the Grinch does yoga. The next morning, I'm extra focused on getting out of the door on time. I even leave before my husband and kids. Finally. Backing out of the driveway, feeling like, okay, we're doing this. I get to the first stop sign, and that's when it hits me. My phone. I sit there for half a second, rubbing my temples, trying to woo-saw myself to calmness. Then I signal and turn around. As I'm heading back to my house, I see my husband and kids going the opposite direction, on their way to school. My husband motions to the windshield like he's asking why I'm turning around. And all I can do is shake my head. I look at the clock. I was already late, and now I'm even more late. My hands grip the steering wheel just a little bit harder.
You're managing what you always do, but your brain feels scattered and you just can't seem to pull it together. The Busy Brain Do-Over from Steady State Co. is your space to recover, reset, and restart, proud of how you show up again. Because you're not the problem, and you're not alone. Here, you'll find real tools and honest conversations to help you feel capable, steady, and like yourself again. Here's your host, Candace David, a fellow busy brain who believes life doesn't have to run perfectly to run well.
This is usually where your brain turns inward. Not calmly, not kindly. It sounds like, why does this keep happening? Why can't I just get it together? Why does one small thing feel like it ruins the whole day? And underneath all of that is a quieter, heavier thought. If one thing goes wrong, I fall apart. But this is the part we miss. It's not actually one thing. It's the third thing, the fourth thing, the again thing. It's like Jim Halpert biting his tongue once, annoying. Twice, okay, wow. And the third time, he just stands up and tells Pam he's going home for the day. Not because he's weak, but because his nervous system is done. And that's the part that matters. This doesn't happen because we're fragile. It doesn't happen because we can't handle life. It happens because the system is overloaded. At some point, the nervous system says, nope. And that's what's happening here. It's not the missing phone. It's not the AirPods. It's not the water cup. It's the feeling that there's no room for error, that your day is so tight, so packed, so edge to edge, that one more small disruption tips the whole thing sideways. And suddenly you're not just late, you're behind on everything. If that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. This reaction makes sense. Not because you're dramatic, not because you're bad at mornings, but because your day has no cushion. And when there's no cushion, your nervous system treats small problems like big threats. Hi, my busy brain friends. Before we keep going, hit that follow button so your next do-over finds you right when you need it. If you've already subscribed, thank you, and consider this your high five for being ahead of the game. You never know when the next episode's going to be the one that gives you that deep exhale you've been craving. This do-over doesn't start before things fall apart. It starts after you've already thought, okay, this day is shot. Because that's usually when you notice it. I call this one the cushion do-over. Step 1, pause the story. Not the situation, just the story your brain is telling you about it. You don't need to calm down. You don't need perspective. You just stop adding meaning for a second. Step 2, name what's actually happening. This is the moment your brain wants to say, I can't handle anything. Or, why am I falling apart over this? Those are the thoughts to interrupt. Instead, shift here. I've been holding a lot because sometimes the day does have space, but you don't. You might be carrying mental load from the days before, or bracing for a stretch of days you know will be tight, or holding 100 open loops your calendar doesn't show. And when your system has been running near capacity for a while, even a small disruption can tip it. Your reaction isn't about this one thing. It's about how much you've already been carrying. You're not weak. You're human. Step 3, add one cushion right now. Not for tomorrow, not as a life overhaul, right now. For this moment, that might look like dropping one non-essential thing from today. Letting the next task be good enough instead of correct. Slowing the next transition on purpose. Or giving yourself 5 or 10 minutes of nothing before moving on. Step 4, let yourself recover. Here's the quick brain piece in this context. When there hasn't been much cushion for a while, every interruption asks your brain to do extra work. Extra recalculating, extra adjusting, extra deciding what to do now. That's why one small problem can suddenly feel like too much. Not because the problem is big, but because your brain has no room to absorb it. When you add even a small buffer, you reduce how much mental work the disruption creates. Fewer decisions, less internal scrambling. That's why things stop escalating. You're not trying to rescue the whole day. You're just giving the disruption somewhere to land so it doesn't knock everything else over. You're allowed to stop treating these moments like a personal failure. When one small thing tips you over, that's not a flaw. That's information about how much you've been carrying. And you're allowed to respond to that information with support, not self-criticism. You don't have to do it perfectly. You can meet yourself exactly where you are and still make things gentler from here. If you've been listening and thinking, ugh, I need this kind of reminder more than once a week, I've got you. Join my newsletter, The Weekly Do-Over. It's my short midweek note that drops right when life starts spinning again. Part pep talk, part permission slip, all real life. You'll get practical encouragement, behind-the-scenes stories, and simple resets that actually fit your busy brain. Go to mybusybrain.com/join because waiting until next week to get grounded again is way too long. All right, my fellow busy brain friends, take a breath, give yourself a little grace, and remember, you can always start again. That's what a do-over really is. Not perfection, just permission. Talk soon.